Today we're going to look at 3 different video clips and see how accurately they portray tinnitus ringing in the ears. As a tinnitus doctor, I'm going to pay particular attention to how the symptom is portrayed and how the sound of tinnitus is portrayed. We're going to feature different TV clips and movie clips, so grab some popcorn, stick around, and let's jump right into it. Before we do, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'd love to have you part of this community. Before we start, it is noted that there are some loud explosions and gunshots in these video clips, so if you're sensitive to loud noises or explosions, you may want to consider turning the volume down or not watching this video. Let's get into it with number 1, Copland. All right, we're jumping right into it here. There's a gun being pointed at this guy. He's about to be shot. Shoots through the window. Wow. And previously, Sylvester Stallone here had a lot of shooting scenes, and we didn't include all of them in this clip, but he was shooting a lot of gunfire, and you can listen here to the sound of tinnitus. All right, so what we saw there in that clip is that Sylvester Stallone is essentially living with a temporary hearing loss because of all the gunfire, all the explosions that he was going through and that were around him. He wasn't able to hear that well. His hearing was muffled, and that can happen with loud noise exposure. So policemen, anyone who's around loud explosions, military veterans, people who fire guns, people who are around a lot of loud, intense noise, even musicians to some degree, can experience this temporary threshold shift, as it's called, which means a reduction in their hearing, and it can lead to tinnitus, also pronounced tinnitus. And in this scene, if we're really listening closely, we could hear this high-pitched ringing, a high-pitched tone that he was hearing in both ears. And when you hear that and you have a temporary hearing loss, you're disconnected from your environment. So it's a pretty dangerous place to be if you're in this kind of active shooter zone. Next up, we have Hunger Games. Amazing book series, amazing movie. Love this. It's intense. We're going to jump into this scene right here. All right, Katniss was looking at the pile of explosives. There's the explosion. She was very close to the explosion. Her body was thrown. That's how much pressure and force there was. Nothing there. Now we start to listen closely for the ringing, the tinnitus. Her head is ringing, ears are ringing, she's looking around. All right, so in that scene, what we saw is loud explosion. She was maybe within 100 feet of the explosives, and maybe you've seen other clips like this too. When there's a loud explosion, someone can be thrown out, so that's so much force, so much energy to physically move your body and throw your body. That's a pressure wave. So what is sound really? Sound is a pressure wave moving through the air. And what Katniss, the main character in the Hunger Games, experienced is this massive pressure wave pushed her body, and it also caused a temporary hearing loss. Or for her, it may be a permanent hearing loss because that was such a loud explosion. Depending how she had her head turned, if she had her right ear or this side of her face closest to the explosion, she may have worse tinnitus on that ear. That's something we see with loud noise events. So for between seconds and minutes there, she's on the ground, disoriented, and she's hearing the loud ringing in her head. She has this temporary hearing loss as well because you can tell it's disorienting and she doesn't hear any other sounds. So she'll get some of that hearing back, but some of it she might not, just because of the nature of that intense explosion. Next up, we have an episode from Criminal Minds. Let's watch it and see what's going on.
That a federal agent.
All right, there's been a car accident, and the main character here is coming onto the scene. There we go. Loud explosion, loud noise. His head was really close to the car, so that's a loud noise exposure. All right, he sees Kate, who's the woman he's trying to get in touch with. He runs over to her. Let's listen for any tinnitus he may hear.
Oh, my purse.
Shh, I don't think
Right there, he heard tinnitus in his ear.
You dropped it.
Kate, stop trying to move.
Right there again, the tinnitus comes back.
Aaron, what happened to you? What happened?
I don't know, a bomb. An IED. I think it was an IED.
All right, so what happened there is he was exposed to this loud noise event really close to his head, and then for the next minutes, he's hearing intermittent tinnitus coming in and out. Now, it might be a few things because this guy not only was close to the explosion and had the loud noise event, but he also has blood coming down his face. He might have perforated his eardrum. That could be bleeding. He might have something else going on in his head. That's not entirely clear. But what this does show is that having your head close to a loud noise, a sudden loud noise, can have tinnitus, can result in tinnitus ringing in the ears. We know this with military veterans. We know this with people who work around guns. We know this with those who are, in these kinds of action scenes or these kinds of crises, emergencies. So if you can protect your hearing by wearing earplugs, earmuffs, hearing protection. But if you can't, then what do? Well, now we're in the process of just waiting and see. We're going to wait a few days to see if any temporary hearing loss or temporary tinnitus improves, because there is something called temporary threshold shift, where after this loud noise event, your hearing can get much better, your tinnitus can get much better, but sometimes it lingers on for much longer. And that's when an audiologist would come in hand, a tinnitus specialist, to help someone manage and reduce the condition and the symptom over time. Let me know in the comments below if you've had loud noise exposure and tinnitus as a result of it. I know many of you watching with tinnitus may have had it come in a completely different way, because not many of us are doing shootouts or next to explosions. However, tinnitus can come in many forms. It can be caused by many different things. The treatment and management of it is well known. For experts like ourselves, we know how to manage the condition, and it's often with a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for tinnitus, sound therapy. Those are the best two therapies and treatments that can help. Depending on the cause, also someone can treat hearing loss with hearing aids. Depending on the cause of tinnitus, it may be a neck, jaw, or dental related procedure. That said, these clips showed that loud noise events can trigger tinnitus, but it doesn't show you what happens next, because often this is a management cycle where someone has to manage the tinnitus and get it down to manageable levels. And that can take weeks or months. That's something that we work exclusively with in our practice, is getting individuals over this hump of going from tinnitus suddenly became loud and obtrusive, and often that acute tinnitus period can last weeks or months. But what happens next? That's when we need to get smart. We need to use our resources and leverage different scientific backed therapies and treatments. That's what we do at Treble Health. You can reach out to our team if you have more questions. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel, and also check out the next video here for more video from Treble Health. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching today's video with Treble Health. Check out our next video by clicking the button on this screen or another recommended video. And if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.